Welcome back to Dad versus Son, and we're about to do another playthrough of Command and Colours Napoleonics. And as we said before, we're working through these chronologically as we can with what's available. And I'm going on next with this first scenario out of the Austrian expansion, which is Wertingen, 8th of October 1805, which will pit the French against the Austrians. So the background for this is that after Napoleon had crossed the Rhine and wheeled to the south, he crossed the Danube and positioned his grand army behind General Karl von Mack's Austrians, concentrated around Ulm. In the opening clash of the Ulm campaign, the French advance guard, under the command of Murat and Lannes, caught a small Austrian corps under Field Marshal Alfenberg unprepared and in an awkward location. So swift was Murat's cavalry advance that several of Alfenberg's Austrian battalions were overrun or captured before they could put up any defence. The Austrian grenadiers formed square, holding the French cavalry onslaught for a time, until Oudinot's infantry engaged and shattered the squares. Cut off from their base at Ulm, the survivors of Alfenberg's corps melted away to the west. The magnitude of the Austrian defeat shook Mack's confidence and affected his decisions for the remainder of the campaign. The stage is set, the battle lines are drawn, you're in command. Can you change history? And the way I interpret the rules and everything else in these games, bloody oath I can. Okay, so battle notes. The Austrian army is under the command of Alfenberg, who is not on the map, and they will get 4 command cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. The French army is under the command of Murat, again, who is not on the board, and they get 5 commands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's put them around the other way. So that's 4 for the Austrians, 5 for the French, because I've got the French Austrians set up here. The French move first. 5 victory banners, and I've put the banners up here so I can slot them up here for when we do it. And there are no special rules. I've set up the French squares here ready to go, and the Austrian squares here ready to go. Because we're in 1805, the Austrians also have the chance to use their special ability, Battalion Mass. So the only difference between Battalion Mass and forming square is the Austrians formed a solid square rather than an open square. So the only troops that can form Battalion Mass are Austrian line units, not light, not grenadiers or any other form of infantry, so only line units. All square rules pertain to Battalion Mass, except that because they're a more compact, smaller unit set up in mass, they don't lose a command card to form that. Right-o, so we can get going. So Wertingen is this area here, this town. We have another 4 villages around the area. We have some woods, and we have 3 hills. The French forces are predominantly cavalry, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4 heavy cavalry units, 2 light cavalry units, 2 light infantry units, and 2 grenadier units. The Austrians, by the same token, are a predominantly infantry force. They only have 2 cavalry units, 1 heavy cuirassiers up there, and 1 light cavalry unit over here. They have 3 line units here, 3 line units here, 2 line here, 1 line, and 2 grenadiers. Both forces have 1 lot of artillery, horse for the French, foot for the Austrians. The French have 4 leaders, and the Austrians have 2. So let's get into it. Okay, so French first. They have a flank attack, a coordinated advance, assault centre, attack centre, and scout centre. Okay, so we've got 3 in the centre, and we have basically 3 for the flanks, 2 for the flanks. So what do we want to do? So realistically, what we need to do is get our cavalry forward to pin the Austrian infantry in place so that our minimal force of cavalry, pin infantry, so our French infantry can come up and blow them away effectively. Whereas what the Austrians really want to do is pin the cavalry and then bring them under fire. They don't want to melee them so that they can run away. So what's going to be best for the French to start with? Now, if we go for a flank attack, that means I could move these 2 light units here, maybe up into the woods, the forests, give them a little bit of cover, but they're not going to be doing anything from there. This light unit could go 1, 2, 3 and bring this unit, this line unit, under a bit of trouble. This one would come around 1, 2, 3, basically up beside it, but it's not really going to achieve a lot. The heavy cavalry units only move 2 hexes. So what we really need for them to go forward and do some business is a cavalry command, and then the heavy cavalry and all the rest of it can move 3 and bring at least these units under some pressure. So a flank attack's probably not going to do a great deal at the moment. The coordinated advance, 1 on each flank and 2 up the guts, same sort of thing. It's not going to achieve a great deal, and everything else is up the centre. So I don't want to give the initiative to the Austrians if I can get away with that. But if I bring all my cavalry forward, even 1, then they can then start to come up, which is good. So if I do a flank attack, I could bring these 2 heavy cavalry units forward even to here, which then brings them into range next turn of these units here. And the light cavalry could then either screen forward up here and move to a position where they might be able to bring this foot artillery into a bit of trouble. But then that's going to allow these units potentially to come down through the woods, set up a nice little line of fire here to wipe out the French left flank. Okay. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use the flank attack. So that's 2 on each flank. And it's going to be this heavy unit, this heavy unit, this light unit, and this light unit. These ones are fairly simple. This heavy unit will move forward 1 to here, and that's all they're going to do. This heavy unit will come forward 1 as well, and that's all they can do. This line unit is going to come forward 1, and actually is going to go into the woods, just as a holding action to start with. And this light unit is going to do the same, so that they're both into a position where they can charge out and hopefully do some good. Okay, 1 card for them. Okay, the Austrians have an attack centre, assault right flank, give them the cold steel or probe centre. So give them the cold steel is issue an order to all units adjacent to the enemy, and we don't have any, so we can't really use that at the moment. So forget about that. So we've got probe centre, attack centre, or right flank. Okay, now we have 4 units over here plus a leader, so 5 units effectively. So the assault right flank would help there, and I think that's what we might end up doing. So assault right flank, 4 units, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and the leader. And the leader is going to move down to the light cavalry, and it's finished. This line unit is going to move down 1. This line unit is going to move down into the village, and this line unit is going to come down as well. And that way we can use all 3 of these to bring fire onto these. It won't be a great deal, but it's better than nothing. And one thing I tend to forget as well, just so you're aware, and if I screw it up, you can scream and at your computers and tell me off, is Austrian line infantry have to retreat by 2 hexes per flag, and they, even with bayonet charge and everything else, only can move 1 hex, not 2. Righto. So these have all moved. So they've got half a die per block round down. So this unit here firing into here, half a die each. Round down is 2 die, -1 into the trees. And he does no good whatsoever. This guy here cannot fire because he's just moved into the village. Only light infantry and so forth can. So this line infantry down into here again, 1 die and nothing as well. And that's the Austrians' first turn completed. Right. So what did the French get? And they've ended up with a recon in force. So 1 in each sector. They still have their assault centre, coordinated advance, attack centre, and scout centre. Righto. So again, we don't have anything for the left flank other than being able to move 1 unit. So not real flash. Now in the centre now, we could actually do an attack with this unit, but if we use a coordinated advance, we can move 2 units in the centre, 1 out on the right flank and 1 on the left flank if we want. So we're going to do that. So we're going to take the heavy cavalry forward on the right flank, the heavy cavalry forward in the centre, the horse artillery forward in the centre, and this light cavalry unit over here. So movement wise, this heavy cavalry is going to go 1, 2 up to here. This heavy cavalry unit will go 1, 2 up to here as well. The horse will move forward 1, and he won't be able to do anything through the town. And this light unit is going to go 1, 2 to this line unit here. Righto. So we'll start on the right flank. We've got this heavy cavalry unit attacking this line unit. So the decision is, do they go into square using battalion mass or not? And they decide that they're going to do that. So they've gone into there. So they're going to get their first attack at the heavy cav before the heavy cav gets a go. So it's 1 die for the infantry, and they force us back 1. So we don't get to go at all. This unit now against there, and again they're going to go into battalion mass. They get to go first again, and they push us back as well. Wow. Tough little buggers. Right. Over here, same thing. They will go into battalion mass. They get the first go, and they miss, and we come back with 1, and we miss as well. So that's the end of the French turn. Right. So the Austrians have attack centre, probe centre, give them the cold steel, and scout left flank. So the only unit we have adjacent at the moment are these 2. Issue an order to all units adjacent. Order units may melee with 1 additional die. They may not engage in ranged combat, may not move before melee. After successful melee, infantry may take ground, cavalry may perform back. Okay. Righto. So I could melee and force these ones back, maybe. Which may be handy because these will not be able to retire and reform because they have to go 2 hexes to that rather than 1. If they go 2 hex, they're going to go off the board and they are gone. So that's not going to do any good. That'll give the Austrians a go straight ahead. So they could attack centre. So they could move these units up. This one could come up into here. He would have to melee with them if he was going to... Oh, he couldn't do anything anyway because he'd just be up in there. That's fine. Grenadiers could move forward and bring one of these under fire. We could scout the left flank. But I think what we will do is we're going to try and take this unit out. So we're going to give them the cold steel. So all units that are adjacent, so that's these units. Excuse me. So they get 1 additional die. So this line unit is meleeing with this light unit, and as I said, they can't retire and reform because they'd be going straight off. So they're just going to have to stay there and take their drubbing. So the line unit gets 5 die. They're coming out of the town. It doesn't affect infantry, I don't believe. Nope. Does not affect infantry. And they get 1, 2, 3, 4 and wipe them out. And that's the first 4. The Austrians. Now, do they want to advance after that? And the answer is no. And this guy doesn't want to do anything either. Okay. So that's the end of that. We didn't even use the extra die. French, not happy. Not happy at all. So they have their scout centre, attack centre, assault centre, recon in force, and attack right flank. So they're going to go for their attack right flank. So they can start to bring some of these blokes up. So attack right flank for 3. We have the Grenadiers. We have the Grenadiers, and we have the light unit. These Grenadiers will move forward. These Grenadiers will move forward. They can't do anything. and this light unit will move forward into here, but again they're out of range and can't do anything. So we're going to fire into here. Grenadiers get half per block rounded down +1, so they're going to end up with 3 die, and they're going to be firing at this one to try and isolate him. So over here, and they get 1 hit. And that's the end of the French turn. Austrians, not happy now. Attack centre, probe centre, scout left flank, or cavalry charge. Now they've got a cavalry charge, so what to do? So there are only cavalry here and here, so he could go 3 and go 1, 2, 3, but he's then going to be fighting into the woods, and fighting into the woods with cavalry, or the forest with cavalry would be -2, so he'd still get 2, which is something. And these guys could go 1, 2, 3 and start to get ready to come up on these grenadiers and so forth. So we'll do that. So it's a cavalry charge for the Austrians. Cuirassiers, light cav. Cuirassiers will go 1, 2, 3, positioning themselves to do some damage, and this light cav unit will go 1, 2, 3, and melee with the light here. So they get 1 per, -2 into the forest, so they get 2 dice, and they get 1 hit. This light cavalry now can battle back, and again it's 1 per block, so that's 3, but it's -1, -2 for coming out of the forest, so they only get the 1 back, and they miss. Okay, so not a bad outcome for the Austrians at all. French getting more upset as the day wears on. So they've got their reconning force, assault centre, attack centre, scout centre, and probe centre. So they really want to do something up the centre. Okay, they've got 4 units in the centre, so they're going to do assault centre just for the fun of it. And they have this 1, 2, 3, and 4. No, sorry, Grenadier, go down. Right. So this heavy cav is going to go 1, 2, 3. So they can bring the Grenadiers under a bit of pressure. The horse artillery is not going to move. This heavy cavalry unit here is going to go 1, 2, 3, and this heavy cavalry unit will go 1, 2, 3. So that's start to bring some pressure again onto the Austrian right flank and the left. The trouble is it's left our centre very bare at the moment. Righto, so this heavy cavalry unit can't do anything else, and this heavy cavalry unit can't do anything else, so they're sitting there fat, dumb and happy. The horse is going to shoot here, so it's a 1, 2, 3, which is a whole 1 die, and they get a hit. And they're done. And now the heavy cav against the grenadiers. Now, do the grenadiers want to go into square? Is the decision. Or do they want to take their knocks? So heavy cav is going to hit for 4 plus 1 die. So 5 die. Which they really don't want to do. So they are going to go into square. So they're in square, and the Austrians lose a card. And it will be that one. So Grenadiers get the first go, and they miss. Heavy cav get 1 hit. Rightio, and they're done. And that's the end of the French go. And we have the Austrians now with only 3 available cards. They have a scout right flank, attack centre, and scout left flank. Okay. Austrians, Austrians, Austrians. Okay, so if they scout right flank, they could probably bring a line unit forward to try and push these out of here. They could bring the light cavalry around to melee with the heavy cavalry, which isn't a real smart idea. So that's a scout right flank. Scout left flank, they could maybe bring their cuirassiers in against the heavy cavalry and try and knock them out. Or they could bring the cuirassiers down to the grenadiers here and try and punch them back. Or they could bring this guy out of battalion mass to bring the grenadiers or these heavy cavalry under fire as well. Or we've got a attack centre for 3. We could bring this line forward to bring the horse under fire or the cav under fire. We could bring this line over, and then the heavy cav cannot retire and reform because they've got nowhere to go. Because I'm pretty sure retire and reform, they have to go back towards their own side. Let's make sure that I'm not going the wrong way. Yeah, so it has to go towards its side of the battlefield. So let's do an attack centre and put some pressure on the French. So we've got 1 in the centre here. What else do we want to do? 2 in the centre here. And in fact, the leader will be the 3rd. So this line unit is going to move 1 over to here. The leader is going to move forward to the grenadiers, and they're not going to do anything, and this foot is going to fire down here. So we'll do the artillery first. It's 1, 2, 3, which is 2 dice for foot artillery, and we get artillery, so it does nothing. Pain. Pain. And now the line unit into the heavy cavalry, and they've moved, so it's a half round down, so they still get 2, and the heavy cav's got to stand there for it. And we get nothing. Wow. So the heavy cav's going to come back with 5, and we cannot go into square, battalion mass or anything else. And they hit us for 4 in a retreat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and again we can't retreat because we've got nowhere to go. So they've wiped us out. Wow. Okay. And that's the first banner for the French. I'm going to give the French side, yes. Okay. Well, that did not work out the way the Austrians were hoping, that's for sure. Okie doke. Frenchies. Recon in force, attack centre, probe centre, scout centre, and probe centre. So we've got 2 of them now. So we're going to probe centre. We've only got 2 units there, so we may as well use that because we've got 2 of the same order. We have the horse artillery and we have the heavy cav. Movement wise, I'm not going to move the horse artillery. The heavy cav is going to come up against the foot artillery. So the first one we're going to do is here. So we have 5 dice against the artillery. I don't think there's nothing in there. And we have 2 hits. So the artillery can come back. Well, foot artillery, melee range with 1 is still 3 dice. Okay. And they get 2 of them, which wasn't real flash. So that didn't work the way we wanted either. So then we do our leader check, and our leader is fine. I really wanted to follow that up into the grenadiers there and tie them up. It didn't work. Okay, horse artillery into here. It's a range of 3, so it's only going to be the 1. And misses. Not real flash either. Okay, back to the Austrians, and they have a scout right flank, scout left flank, and probe centre for 2. And they are going to do the probe centre for 2 with this line unit and this line unit. This one is going to come forward up onto the hill, and this one will come forward as well. Excuse me. This unit's going to fire first to here. They've moved, they're up on a hill. Hill doesn't matter anything for firing down, so they are going to fire for 2 into the cav, and they knock both of them out. Wow. So then we do our leader check. Oh. Now I just want to make sure. Ranged combat. Leader alone does nothing. Nope, does nothing. Okay. So he can retire. He goes 1, 2, 3. Run away! Run away! So he's finished. And he can't do anything because I was going to actually bring them into a combined arms fire to blow them away if need be. But that was still a good outcome, and that's another victory banner for the Austrians. We're back to the French, who are starting to tear their hair, gnash their teeth, and not be very happy at all. So they have a reconning force, attack center, probe center, scout center, and attack center. And they've got 2 units in the center, and that is it. Okay, we need to get some stuff back into the center. So we're going to do a recon in force, 1 in each sector. We'll do the heavy cav here. Bum, bum, bum. We will do the leader here in the center. Oh, no, we'll do the horse in the center here. And we will do our heavy cav here. Righto. So this heavy cav first is going to move, and they're going to go 1, 2 to bring them back into the center. This heavy cav is also going to move, and it's going to go 1 to here. And the horse artillery is staying put. No, it's going to go forward 1 as well to here. Okay, so first things first, heavy cav at the cuirassiers. This I can't do anything more. So we have heavy cav. Make sure. Yep, so that's 1 per block plus 1, so that's 5 against the cuirassiers. And the cuirassiers, heavy cuirassiers, can ignore 1 flag. Yep, okay. So we have 3 hits on the heavy cuirassiers, which was damn fine for the French. And then the heavy cuirassiers come back with 1 per die plus 1, so back with 2, and they miss big time. Okie doke. The horse artillery will fire here again. We're now at range 2, so we have 2 dice. And get 2 sabres and do nothing. And that's the end of the French turn. Austrians not happy now. They have scout right, scout left, and first strike. I didn't see it before. I should have looked. I could have had a go at these bastards first. Okay. So I've got to remember it's there now. But we don't tell the French. Okay, so scout left or scout right. Scout left or scout right. Okay, and we are going to scout right flank. With this line unit here. No. With this battalion mass unit here, and they are going to move 1, and that's that. Righto, French. Attack center, probe center, scout center, attack center, and attack left flank. Yay! So their left flank, they've only got the 1 unit, so they really want that. They wanted some stuff over on the right flank. So attack center, scout center, probe center. So I think what we'll do is an attack center for 3, and we'll do this one, and this one. The leader is going to go 1, 2 up with the horse artillery. This heavy cav is going to go 1, 2 into position, ready to play, and then the horse artillery again is going to fire into here, and that's going to be for 2 die. And they get 1 sabre, 1 cavalry, and do bloody nothing again. Righto. Okay, so the Austrians have a scout left flank, a first strike, and a recon in force. So they're going to do their recon in force. So that's 1 on each. Okay, so they're going to bring this line in for 1 on their right flank. Excuse me. They're going to move their foot artillery back 1, that's the centre, and then over here, oh, do they want to do that, really? Do they? No, they don't. This guy is going to come out of square, and that gives us a probe centre. No, sorry, we're doing a recon in force. So he's playing. So we've got 1 there, we've got 1 there, we need 1 over here. And I think what we will do is use our little bloke here, seeing as we only get 1 anyway. Righto. So this guy has moved. No, he hasn't yet. He's going to move into the trees, forest, woods, and he can't do anything. I don't think. I keep thinking that he can't once he moves in there. And I'm not sure if that's towns or not. I could be just lying to myself. The unit or leader that enters a forest text must stop and may move no further on that turn. A unit may not battle that turn it moves into a forest. Light infantry, young guard, rifle, light, and other lights can. Yes, so I was right. Okay, so he's moved in there, but he can't do anything at the moment. This guy is going to shoot at the heavy cab there. They have not moved. They're grenadiers, so they get 1 per +1, so 4 dice into the heavy cab. And they get 3 retreats. Righto. So, heavy cav, French heavy cav. Can't ignore any retreats. Now, when they retreat, they have to retreat to their board edge. The only place he can retreat at the moment, move, is to here, which is not towards his board edge. So 3 of them is 1, 2, 3 taken out. And then we have to do a leader check. And the leader is fine. So Grenadiers did bloody well. Okay, and then we have the line unit here, which is meleeing with them. And again, they can't run away and reform because they can't move back towards their board edge. So we have the 1 for the infantry, who misses, and then the cavalry comes back with 1 and gets a retreat, which knocks out 1 unit. So they're back to 2 now. Okay. So all in all, pretty good go for the Austrians. French, not happy. Attack centre, probe centre, scout centre, attack left, or fire and hold. Right. So this is infantry and artillery. 4 units fire and hold, and they get 1 extra die. May not move before or after. Righto. Infantry or artillery. So we have a grenadier unit here that can shoot. We have a grenadier unit here that can shoot. We have an artillery unit here that can shoot. And that's all we've got is the 3. So that's what we're going to do. This grenadier unit is going to shoot into here. So they get 4 dice, +1, into the battalion mass, and they get 1 kill and 4 retreats. They're in battalion mass, which is square. They can't retreat, so it wipes out the whole unit in 1 hit. Bang. Wow. Frenchies, very, very happy. And that is their second banner. So 2 each. This guy can still shoot 5, shooting out of the trees. Doesn't affect anything. And we have 1 hit. And then, oh, we've got 1 extra die. Forgot about that. So he had an extra die we forgot about as well. But so we've got 1 extra die for each. So 2 dice. No, because he can't shoot at him. 1 extra die, him to here. And misses. So got away with it. Then we have the horse artillery firing into here. So it's a range of 2, which is 2 dice, plus the extra for the fire and hold is 3 die. And we blow it away. And that is the 3rd banner for the French. So the French have basically annihilated the Austrian left flank. But there's still a lot of Austrians there coming over. Righto. Okay. Austrians. Probe centre, scout left, scout left. Oh, that's their left. Okay, and they are going to do scout left. And it's going to be the heavy cuirassiers against the heavy cav. And heavy cuirassiers are 1 per block +1. Yay! Against the heavy cav. And they wipe it out. Which is another banner for the Austrians. 3 each. And then we have the leader check with 1 die. We're in melee. So just to make sure. Leader in a hexalone melee. So if we get sabres, we hit him. If we get a flag, then he just has to retreat anyway. Okay. And we miss. So he's going to retreat 3. He's going to go 1, 2, 3 into the Grenadiers. The Cuirassier can advance 1, and then he's going to advance away 1. He's advancing to the rear. Righto. And then I'm going to draw 2 cards for him, and at his next turn he gets to pick which one he wants, and then he can throw the other away. Righto, French. So, both destroyed 3 units each. The French have attack centre, probe centre, scout centre, attack left flank, and attack right flank for 3. Right. What to do? I'm going to have to start trying to take out some of that infantry. I'm worried about the people over here as well, though. Left flank, right flank, centre, centre, centre. Okay, well, I've only got 1 unit on the left flank. So attack left flank would just be pulling them out effectively. Scout centre. Effectively, I could probably move the heavy cav around to try and take out his light, or push them forward to take out his artillery. Attack centre is just a waste for 3. Probe centre would give me these 2. So I could maybe move him into the town. How's it going to affect artillery shooting out eventually? It's a -1. Okay, so probe centre's not a bad idea. Attack centre's a waste, or attack, so forget about scout centre, and attack left, forget about attack centre. So we've got probe centre or attack right flank. So 3 on the right. So the heavy cav could come up and force them maybe into square again. Or we could bring 3 infantry up and around. They'd bring grenadiers to here and here. And I could move the light to here, but then they've got nowhere to run away to either. Okay. We will probe centre for the time being. Okay, so we have the heavy cav and we have the horse artillery. The horse artillery is going to move into the town, and they can't do anything this turn. The heavy cav is going to try and come around and knock some of these buggers out. So it's going to go 1, 2 to the light cav. So it can bring its power to bear. And it's going to attack the light cav. And they get 5 dice. However, we didn't tell the French that we had a first strike. So play this card after the opponent declares a melee, but before the dice roll. Defending unit will battle first. If the opponent's unit is neither eliminated nor retreat, it may then battle as originally. Okay, at the end of the turn, you draw a replacement command card first. Righto, so our light cavalry is going to attack first, and it attacks with 4 dice into their heavy cavalry. And we get 1 retreat. So we push them back 1. The only place they can go back is to here. If the opponent's unit is neither eliminated nor retreats, it may then battle as originally ordered. However, it did retreat even though it is still in melee. So they're facing away, running away. So our first strike goes in. We get our card back first. That's ours. And then they get their card. Right, Austrian turn. These are the 2 cards we had for the probe. scout. So we have a Legrand maneuver and a short supply. Okay, Legrand maneuver. Issue an order to 4 or fewer units or leaders. Ordered units or leaders may make a strategic move up to 4 hexes. An infantry unit in square may not be ordered. Ordered units may not battle. So strategic move. And I think that's probably in our best interest to get some of our stuff forward. So I'm going to get rid of short supply. Strategic move, and we're going to move this unit, this unit, that's 3, and that's 4. Let's hang on about this. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one, not that one. Okay, this grenadier is going to go 1, 2 into here. So he's in the village. He is now the village people. This line unit is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And now he's just centrally placed, so yeah, he may get attacked, but he's there. This unit is going to come down 1, 2 into the village here, and this one is going to go 1, 2 up on the hill. So what we now have is basically these units only have a line of retreat back this way. We're starting to bring some firepower onto him, and we have a little bit of cover from, well, a lot of cover from the heavy cav, and a little bit of cover from the horse artillery. Right. Okay. French. Attack right flank, attack centre. So we have 2 in the centre now, well, 3 with the leader. Scout centre, attack left, we've got 2 in the left, so that's not bad. And we have bombard. So bombard is issue an order to 4 or fewer artillery, and I know we only have the 1. Or units may move up to 3 hexes and not battle, or may not move and battle with 2 additional dice. Okay, so this guy firing into here at point blank range would usually get 3 dice and would get an extra 2 is 5, but lose 1, so he'd be 4 dice into here. Or he would be 2 plus 2 out to here, so he'd be 3 dice into here. So we could do a bombard. If we do an attack centre, then he's going to have 2 dice into here, or 1 die into there. Attack left. Well, attack left would help to get these units back out. So he could go 1, 2, 3. He could go 1, 2, but they're still within range of these line units coming in, so that's not really going to help. Or attack right flank. And start to bring this infantry over. We're at 3 victory banners each. Okay, so I need to knock out. Some units. So we're going to do the bombard. Right. And we'll just see. Nope, we've got nothing there. Righto, so the only unit that can bombard is this one. He's at point blank range, which is 3 dice. He gets an extra 2, taking it to 5. But he loses 1 for the town. Yes. So he's down to 4. 4 dice at the little grenadiers, and the grenadiers can ignore 1 flag. Here we go. And we get 1 dead and 2 retreats. So 1 dead. Ignore 1 retreat if we want. Do we want to ignore a retreat? No. So we'll actually retreat 2. Because if we only retreated 1, we're still in charge range anyways, the heavy cav, so doesn't matter. We're happy-ish. Okay, Austrians. Probe center, scout left. Probe right, fire and hold. Ooh. 4 or fewer infantry artillery. May not be adjacent. That's okay. These 2 could fire into here. And these 2 could fire into here. Oh, I like it. Fire and hold it is. Cannot be adjacent. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they have 1 extra die. Okay. Righto. So this guy first is going to shoot here. So he gets 5 die to start with. 5 die to start with, plus 1. But he's going to be firing uphill. So it's minus 1. So he still gets his 5 die against the heavy cavalry here. And the heavy cav... Can't do anything. And we get 2 and a flag. So 2 heavy cav. And heavy cav cannot ignore a flag, so they have to retreat 1. And they have. Which means this guy now cannot fire because they're out of range. This guy is now going to fire into here. And again, he has 5 dice. Plus 1. And then we're going into woods, which is minus 1. So it's gained 5 dice against the light cav. And we get 1 hit. Righto. And then we have our last line unit here. Again, firing into here. 5 dice. Plus 1, minus 1 at the light cav. Oh, sorry, we've got to do the leadership check first. Leader check. And he's fine. And then 5 dice in there. And we have 2 retreats. So he can ignore 1 retreat if he wishes. But I think he's going to go 1, 2 and just retreat away while the going's good. French, starting to feel a little bit put upon. They have an attack centre, scout centre, attack left, attack right, and a bayonet charge. Now they can bayonet charge 2 hexes and still do something, but they're all well out of the way. So we could still charge them forward, they just wouldn't be able to actually do anything, which is a bit of a pain. So it's probably not a good idea. Okay, attack left, we have nobody on the left, so we can forget about that for the time being. Attack right, we've got nobody on the right that can do anything at the moment, which leaves attack centre or scout centre and we've got 3 units in the centre, so we will do attack centre, which gives us the horse artillery, the heavy cavalry, and the light cavalry. Okay, so movement first. Heavy cav is going to go 1, 2. Light, hang on a tick. Yeah, I'll go 1, 2 to there. Light cav will go 1 to there, and they're not moving. Okie doke. So light cav first is going to go after the line. Do they want to go into square, battalion, mass, or anything else? And they go, yeah. So they do that. So they get the first go at the light cav, and they miss. The light cav comes back and gets a hit. Okay, hev cav again, so the infantry gets the first go and misses. Heavy cav gets a retreat, so therefore they lose another. So they're done, and they're done, which leaves the artillery now at a range of 2, which is 2 dice, -1 out of the town, and they miss. Oops, drunk again. Okay. Righto, so what do the Austrians want to do? They have a probe right flank, a probe right flank, a probe centre, and a scout left. Okay, so this is our right flank over here. Let's do it. We're going to probe right flank. And we are going to probe our right flank with our light cavalry and this line infantry. And the line infantry is simply going to move forward 1 to here, and the light cavalry is going to go 1, 2 to here. Okay, the light cavalry is going to go first. No, there is no first strike. So we have 4 dice against the light French cavalry, and we get 2 and 2 retreats. So we've knocked those out, which is the 4th banner for the Austrians. We have our 2 retreats. We do our leader check, and we get a horse, does nothing. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, run away, run away. And the light cav can advance and then can attack again. So now they're attacking the heavy cav, again, 4 dice. And they get 3 infantry and an artillery, which does nothing. Heavy cav come back with 3 dice, and they get 2 of them. And then we do our leader check. Ooh, nearly. And they're safe. The line infantry cannot do anything. Now, that line infantry is done as well. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. French. Scout centre. Attack right. Attack left. Bayonet charge or forced march. Issue an order to all infantry units in one section. Well, they're all there. Grenadier units can move up to 2 hexes in battle. Other infantry units may hold, move 1 hex in battle, or move 2 hexes. Okay, so we're going to do a forced march. So we have this one, this one, this one, and this one. Okie dokie. Righto, so they can move 2 hexes. So they're going to go 1, 2, and they can battle. And he's going to go 1, 2, and he can battle. Light can go 2 and battle as well. They're going to go 1, 2, if there's nothing in range. And this guy is going to go 1, 2, and there's nothing in range. Righto. This grenadier is going to shoot at the heavy cuirassier. And they are going to shoot for 1 half per block round up, so that's 2. Yep. So, and heavy cuirassiers can do what? Ignore 1 infantry fire hit. Okay. And they ignore the 1 infantry fire hit. And then this one is going to shoot at the grenadiers here for 2. And he gets 1 and a retreat. So we take 1 out. And grenadiers can, I believe, ignore 1, but I think they want to run away because it's safer. Right. So that was the French. Austrians, scout left flank, probe right, probe centre, or forward, which is 2 in each. Ooh. We've a probe centre, so that's fine. And we need to bring some of these over. So we're going to do forward, which is 2 in each thing. Okay. Okie dokie. How do we want to do this? How do we want to do this? I need to take out 1 more French unit, and that's it. Righto. So this is on the Austrian right flank for 1. This is on the Austrian right flank for 1. That's the centre for 1. The centre for 2. So right flank, centre, centre. Left flank, we have 1, and that's it. Righto. So this guy is going to move, and he's going to go 1, 2, into there, and he is happy to go into the stables and be relaxed. This line unit will move down into the woods, and they're happy to sit there, boil up their Dixies. This line unit will move forward 1, and this light unit here we'll move forward 1, 2. Righto, so the first thing that's going to happen is this line unit is going to melee with the heavy. So the heavy has a choice of coming down to here, retire and reform, or staying there. Okay, so French, do they have? No, they don't have a first or anything else. So their choice is, if they stay there, they're going to take the first hit. And then they could be forced back, which would be to here anyway. If they retire and reform, then they're going to come back to here or here. Now, that then still leaves them in firing position for the line unit and melee predominantly for the light. And if we can push them off the board, we don't even have to kill them. All we have to do is get them to retreat off the board, then the Austrians win. If they don't retire and reform, then they could end up being pushed to at least here, and then they can still get attacked by both. So at the moment, I think they need to stay there. So the line infantry in battalion mass is attacking first and misses. The heavy cavalry comes back and gets a retreat and knocks one of them out. Right. The line infantry then shoots. Now they've moved, so they only get the 2 die. And they get 1 hit and 1 retreat. He has to retreat into here. And they're done. The light cavalry then attacks the heavy cavalry. They have not... Yes, they did move, but that's okay because they're in melee. So they get 2 die. And they knock him out. And that is the final victory banner for the Austrians. And the Austrians win. The light unit could then move to here. Could then come back again and melee with him if he wanted to. Well, and why not, would say. Just for the fun of it. And doesn't, and he goes, yip, 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 and runs away. So, either way. So that's that. So we took out 3 heavy cavalry units and 2 light cavalry units against 3 line units. 60% of a line unit. 75% of grenadiers. 75% of cuirassiers. 50% of the light, and 67% of the artillery. So, yeah. So all in all, what it really came down to was the amount of troops that were out there. So, I don't believe I screwed up too much, but that's not saying too much either. What are we? An hour 18. So, yeah, my apologies for that. But I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And when we come back for our next one, I think it is... Is it Günzburg? Günzburg, the next one? Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, Günzburg, I believe is the next one. So take care, be good, have fun, and I will catch you next time. Bye for now.